Going to the toilet. Here's a subject you won't find in any detail in any of your English textbooks. It's strange, really, when you consider that each and every one of us does this at least once or twice a day. Yet many people, and the English in particular, are rather embarrassed when talking about going to the toilet. The English, being somewhat reluctant to admit that they do go to the toilet, have invented many expressions to sanitize this rather natural bodily function. Perhaps it is this embarrassment about our natural bodily functions that makes toilet humour so popular in Hollywood movies and for stand-up comedians. But this is not a modern phenomenon, this aversion to accept our body's natural processes. Around 1781, Benjamin Franklin wrote an essay entitled "Fart Proudly," in which he suggested to the Royal Academy of Brussels that research ought to be undertaken into ways of improving the odour of the human fart. Raucously funny, the essay has nevertheless been excluded from most published collections of Franklin's writings. I fully expect this video to upset my more genteel viewers, so don't be shy in complaining about the content in the comments below the video. Let's take a look at some of this vocabulary that you won't easily find elsewhere. When I was in the military, I once told our appalling army chef that he was a genius. He was a genius, I told him, because it took the human body 24 hours to turn good food into shit, whereas he could do it in a matter of minutes. And that's basically what our bodies do, isn't it? We fill our stomachs with food and drink and thus begin a process whereby our bodies remove everything useful from the food by digestion and excrete the waste products. There are two types of waste product produced by the body. There is solid waste produced by the bowels or intestines, and there is liquid waste produced by the kidneys and stored in the bladder. We'll have a look at the liquid waste first. Your kidneys act as filters, filtering your blood and extracting the things that your body doesn't need. This waste material is stored in the bladder, and its technical name is urine. Other nouns for urine are pee, piddle, piss, and wee. Children use the term wee-wee. The verbs used to describe how we rid ourselves of the urine are many and varied. The technical term is urination. If your bladder is full and you desperately need to urinate, you can say that you are bursting. I'm bursting. I'm bursting for a pee. I'm bursting for a wee. You can also say, I need to empty my bladder. Or, I need to take a leak. For reasons unknown to me, when men take a leak, they can say, I need a slash. Slash being a male-only term for urination. I'm going to have a slash. I've just been for a slash. If you've had a slash, you should wash your hands. Women may well say that they're going to pass water, and children are told to go for a tinkle. And when someone is accused of taking the piss, they're not collecting urine like the ancient Romans used to do to sell to the fullers for cleaning wool and other things. To take the piss is to make fun of someone. And now let's take a look, metaphorically speaking, at the solid waste that our bodies produce. The more delicate amongst you and those easily offended should perhaps stop watching this video now. If, however, you feel, as I do, that all English is important, even the English that some deem offensive, you should stay and learn. If you're not constipated, you excrete solid waste daily. As there are 7 billion of us now, that's a lot of waste every day. Go to your doctor, possibly to relieve your constipation, and your doctor will use terms like bowel movement, defecation, evacuation of the bowels, and the passing of stools, so as not to offend. Mind you, if I passed a stool, I'd be pretty well offended, or at least my bottom would be. Your doctor is not going to ask you how many times you have a crap or take a dump. Such terms are normally heard amongst friends at work or in the pub. If you have diarrhea, the doctor is likely to ask you if your stools or motions are loose. Those of a more polite disposition are more likely to use the term poo, as in, I'm going for a poo. This poo should not be confused with the furry poo that A. Milne created. Countless children, however, have sniggered at the humorous connection between poo and Winnie the Pooh. And then there are times when you just have to excuse yourself in order to go to the toilet and answer the call of nature. So what terms can you use in English to do so? Well, you could say, if you're a woman, I need to powder my nose. You can also, regardless of gender, announce that you need to spend a penny. To spend a penny comes from the days when public toilets used to cost a penny to use. And there's an amusing little rhyme that Benjamin Franklin would have appreciated. Here I sit, broken-hearted, paid a penny, and only farted. And if someone tells you that they've just taken the dog out to go to the bathroom, they mean they took it outside so it could relieve itself, having been caught short. There are other words, like bathroom, that we use to hide the fact that we're going to the toilet too. A toilet can be called the kazi, as in, I'm off to the kazi. It's also known as the bog. I'm on the bog. Don't use the term bog if you're in polite company. Prefer the term lavatory. Lavatory is often shortened to lav or lavvy. Then there's the Old English term privy, which is another word for latrine. There is a legend that the term WC, which is another term for toilet, comes from the initials of a very aptly named Victorian plumber, Thomas Crapper. WC actually stands for water closet. The word crap is actually of Middle English origin, and so predates Mr. Crapper by some hundreds of years. While Crapper popularised sanitary plumbing, the modern flush toilet had actually been invented by John Harrington as early as 1596. Queen Elizabeth I, Harrington's godmother, refused to use his toilet as it made too much noise. The British were centuries behind many civilizations, however, some of which, like the Minoans and the Romans, had been using flush toilets thousands of years before Queen Elizabeth refused to use hers. Americans have the terms can and John, while the British, who still have a monarchy, use throne as a pseudonym for toilet. Loo is also popular among the British. Can you tell me where the loo is, please? If you're still watching this video, you've learnt some important everyday English, and I make no apologies for having presented it to you. If you feel that other people might also benefit from this hard-to-find yet incredibly useful English, please share this video with them. I'd also like to read your comments and thank you in advance for adding this video to your favourites.